and I now call Patrick Murray, the PPC for Reading West, to speak for the motion as a whole, and particularly lines 40 to 45 and 52 to 55.
Well, thank you very much. Good morning, I'm Patrick Murray. As said, I'm a prospective parliamentary candidate for Reading West. I've also been a councillor in Oxford since 2004. But back in 1997, when I was 17, I was diagnosed with depression. I was sat alone in a room with a doctor. The conversation went like this: Patrick, you're not well. We think you need to be in hospital to be treated. Now, I'm not afraid to admit that statement scared the living daylights out of me. I didn't want to go, and I said so. The response? Look, you can go involuntarily, or I can get another doctor in here now, and we can section you for 6 months. Not much of a choice, really, so I took the smart option. But the specialist unit in Oxford for under 18s, it was full. I was placed on an adult ward in Northampton, and that was an eye-opening experience, and one that I think particularly relevant to this motion, why I'm particularly supportive of not putting under 18s on adult wards. And whilst I was there, I was prescribed antidepressants, a particular type of antidepressants that have later been shown to increase anxiety, suicidal tendencies, depressive tendencies in some patients, particularly younger patients. Now, I stayed there for a few weeks before discharging myself because I didn't feel really I was being helped at all. It did take me another few years to recover fully, and the journey ended up on the streets, sleeping in Oxford's homeless shelter for young people. Now, I can't help but feel that if I'd been able to get the professional counselling quickly, rather than being forced onto an adult ward and given unsuitable drugs, my recovery would have been that much quicker, that much smoother. Nevertheless, I've been very lucky. I recovered fully many years ago, rebuilt my life, became councillor, became housing portfolio holder on the City Council, was able, hopefully anyway, to make a positive difference to those people who are in the situation I was 8 years ago. Thank you. But what drives me more than anything else is the memory of those who weren't so lucky. Now, a good friend of mine, my sister's best friend, started suffering around the same sort of age I did, 16, 17. She was a sweet girl, but unfortunately she was attacked by a vicious illness, manic depression. But she was strong. She beat it down. She recovered. She went to college, then to university. Then, 2004, a few months after I'd first become a councillor, I got a phone call from my sister. Instantly, I knew something was wrong. The illness had returned. Now, in that split second, I sat there and I imagined how she must have felt. So afraid, so alone. She'd beaten it once. It had come back. Maybe she could beat it again. But maybe it would come back a third time, a fourth time, a fifth time, until eventually she would be beaten down by the savagery and brutality of this illness. And I know she must have been thinking, I'm never going to be free. That's it, this is the lot that I've been given. And that was the point at which my sister told me that she'd taken her life the night before. She was 22 years old. Now, I believe you can judge a society, how civilised a society is, by how we treat our most vulnerable members. And by that school conference, I believe our society is failing, and a large part of that blame must go to this Labour government. Mental health care is a national scandal. And for almost a decade, Labour's answer was the Mental Health Act, a piece of legislation so reactionary, so illiberal, that it wouldn't have been out of place in a Victorian asylum. Now, conference, I know it's too late for my friend, but it's not too late for the millions who are suffering in the UK now. The measures in this motion represent a huge step forwards. Make no mistake about it. I've been there, I've seen it, I know this will make a difference. Please support it, unamended.
Thank you very much, and conference, that was Patrick's first ever conference speech.